Hi there! This is Marissa from Ages in Life, and I currently live with my husband and our 2 children in Berlin, Germany. And since the sun is out and the weather is so nice, I thought that today would be a great day to give you a tour of our minimalist home. So here we are in our entryway, and one of the things I love most about our entryway is how there's a place for everything and everything has a place. The heavier coats get hung up on the rack and the lighter jackets get folded and put away in boxes. Larger shoes, hats, and accessories fit nicely on the shelves, and we're able to fit and put away everything else that we need to go about our busy lives here in the drawer of this storage unit. So as far as our storage unit, the top drawer here holds things like our reusable grocery bags and the guest slippers that we give to people when they come over to visit our home. And then the lower drawers hold the rest of our shoes, and my husband and I each have a drawer and the boys share the lower drawer. I know I'm going to get questions about our storage system, and this is the IKEA L Varley system that's typically used for closet organizing in bedrooms, but my husband had the wonderful idea of making it into a handy storage unit, which has worked really well in keeping our entryway tidy. And then off of the hallway, we also have a full bathroom with a toilet and shower, as well as the washing machine and all of the stuff that I use to wash and line dry the laundry. Just in case you're new to our channel and you're wondering how we ended up here, I'm American, my husband is Chinese, and we have 2 small boys who are now 8 and 10 years old. And what happened is that back in 2016, I started the process of decluttering our entire home, which was no small feat considering that I'd been hoarding a lot of stuff that I'd collected over the past 30 years after the early loss of my parents and my childhood home. And along our decluttering journey, we accidentally ended up becoming a minimalist family, and we loved the freedom that decluttering gave us so much that we ended up getting rid of 95% of our stuff and moving to Europe with 8 suitcases. So we've been living here for 4 years now, but I've never done a full home tour, so I thought better late than never. Why not do it right now? Moving out of the entryway, we go into my husband's office, and one of the things that I think that you notice when you first walk into this room is how bright and sunny it is. Although most rooms in our house get a lot of sunshine, my husband's office is by far the sunniest, and the downside to that is that in the summer this room can get really, really hot. So to combat the heat, we got these nice Roman blinds with a colorful dragon motif as a nod to my husband's Chinese culture. It always drives me crazy when people say that minimalist homes never have color, because if you look around this room, there's color everywhere. From the rich colors of the blinds, to the cozy yellow armchair in the corner, to the colorful mementos sitting on top of the storage cabinet. Speaking of which, this cabinet is so cool because it was upcycled from a piece of our kitchen cabinets that we had to cut off so that it would fit in the space that we had for our kitchen. And that philosophy of using what you have in order to consume less is a big part of our minimalist lifestyle. But I'm getting too far ahead of myself talking about the kitchen. Let's head into the next room, which serves as my home office and our library. I love how bright and open and airy this space is, and it really gets my creative juices flowing when I sit down at my desk to work on my blog or edit videos for my YouTube channel. If you take a moment to look up, you'll see one of the coolest features in this room, which is the plaster frieze on the ceiling that is original to this home, which was built almost 120 years ago. And the good thing about old homes like this, which are called Altbau in Germany, are that they have features like the ceiling details, as well as having really high ceilings. But one of the drawbacks to having a really old home is that there are no closets whatsoever, so we had to get a little bit creative with our storage. So in this room, what we did is we put 2 IKEA Billy bookshelves together. We used the left one to store books and the right one for overflow storage at the bottom and to display my favorite sentimental items. I guess that one of my biggest hopes for this video is that I can break down some of the stereotypes about minimalism. Like there's all these stereotypes about how minimalists live in empty homes or don't own any furniture and all their walls are white and there's no color anywhere and they wear neutral clothing and all of this stuff. But what I want to show is that minimalism doesn't have to look like that. Minimalism can look like anything that you want it to look like. And yeah, we do some of those things. Like we do have a lot of white walls, but we also have a lot of color in our home and we lead very colorful lives. And we like all of the things that normal families like to do too. Like we like watching TV together. My kids like playing video games. My husband likes to grill out when the weather is nice. And what I want people to know most of all is that minimalism isn't about restriction, but rather about freedom. Because when you get rid of all of this excess stuff and clutter that's cluttering up your home and your mind and your life, then what you do is you free up so much more time and space and energy to live life on your terms and to be able to do the things that you want to do. I used to think that I had to hold on to everything that my loved ones that I lost had left behind. But then what I realized is that that made me dwell too much in the past and I wasn't honoring myself or them with my inability to let go. So I only kept the most special items. Things like the wooden box that my grandpa won in a poker game when he was stationed in India during the war, glass and ceramic collectibles left behind by both of my grandmothers, and the one crystal hedgehog that I kept after decluttering dozens from my collection. Moving on to the living room, remember when I said that we have a 120-year-old home? Well, this is one of the problems that comes with having a 120-year-old home. So here we are in our living room, which as you can see is quite long and also serves as our dining room, which is where we eat together most of the time as a family. But one of the challenges that we faced as a minimalist family is how to have the right amount of furniture to be able to host get-togethers and parties without needing to own too much furniture that's cluttering up our space. So we are a minimalist family of 4, but my husband's entire family lives in this area, and when we get together, we're around 20 people, give or take. So what we decided to do was get an extra long and extra sturdy wood dining room table, and then my husband and I both use dining chairs as the chairs in our office so that we can bring them out when we have parties, and we usually bring out my office desk for the kids to sit around for the kids' table. And I think that we were really able to find that sweet spot between owning the right amount of furniture and still having a lot of open space and room to breathe and play in our home. Speaking of play, this is our entertainment area where we watch movies and play video games and do puzzles together as a family. And I recently bought these small woven baskets to help organize our remote controls and controllers and some other things, but I actually gave them to my kids and I let them figure out how they wanted to store their video game controllers, games, and other accessories inside of the baskets. And I think that it's so important to get your kids involved in decluttering and organizing projects around the home because it teaches them essential life skills like problem solving, taking responsibility, and being able to manage their own stuff. We also keep a puzzle mat and a few puzzles right here underneath the TV because we like to be able to pull it out and work together spontaneously in the evenings and on the weekends. One of the interesting things that I've noticed about having a minimalist home is that when we have people come over, we don't hear them say things like, "Why is your home so empty?" or "Where is all your stuff?" What they actually say is they compliment us on how clean and tidy our home is. And I think that's been one of the biggest benefits of minimalism because I always remember what life was like back before we decluttered everything. And I felt like I was constantly cleaning my home and yet had nothing to show for it at the end of the day because it would go right back to being a mess. And I knew that I would just wake up and have to repeat the whole process all over again the next day and the day after that and the day after that. Whereas now our home is so easy to clean and maintain that we can have everything tidied up and guest ready in 15 minutes or so. Next to the dining room table, we also have a basket that used to hold my boys' kickboxing gear, but now what we do is we put their backpacks inside of it because we are most often doing our homework and schoolwork at the dining room table, and so it just makes more sense for us to have this basket with their backpacks here where it's easily accessible. From this room, you can move into the kitchen, and it is a closed kitchen. It has doors on both ends that you can close. I love having a closed kitchen. I used to think that I wanted an open kitchen like everyone else and their brother has on HGTV, but let me tell you, closed kitchens are where it's at. Especially on the weekends, we can let the boys watch TV in the living room, and then my husband and I can shut the doors and spend some quality time together chatting as we make dinner without having to have the sound overflow and disturb each other in the separate rooms. When we first moved into our home, it didn't have a kitchen, which is apparently pretty common when you're buying a home in Germany. So we needed to go kitchen shopping, and we were lucky to find this kitchen, which I think kind of has a wabi-sabi feel to it with the asymmetrical island, the modern wood cabinets with the dark glass, and the gorgeous black granite countertop, which was so big and heavy that it took 6 ginormous dudes to carry it up the stairs to our home. We make it a point to try and keep the flat surfaces in our kitchen free of visual clutter so that the only things we keep out are the things that we use very frequently, like the fruit bowl that we have on top of the kitchen island and the wooden box to the side that holds our condiments. And we also have a mini gallery wall that has 3 of our favorite cities that we've lived in together as a family. So my husband and I actually met at a Chinese New Year party back in Chicago in 2009, and it was love at first sight. I mean, at least it was for me. And then obviously we live in Berlin now, and we also spent 2 years together when my oldest son was a baby living in Shanghai, China. Another cool DIY project that my husband created in this room is the utility closet made out of an upcycled Billy bookshelf. And this is where we put our large rice bags because we eat a lot of rice in our family, as well as our vacuum cleaner and some extra tools that we have. And then up top we have a few more practical and sentimental items, as well as my small cookbook collection. Moving down the hallway, on the left side is the bedroom where my husband and I sleep. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of stuff inside of it. We have a bed, a laundry hamper, a wardrobe, and that's pretty much it. Although behind the door, we also do have a drop zone, which is where I kind of pick up clothes that have been discarded around the floor, or if somebody takes clothes off and we don't feel like dealing with it right then, we can drop it there and deal with it later. And then as far as our clothes go, my husband has the left side of the wardrobe and my stuff is on the right, and he has the top 2 drawers while I have the one on the bottom, and the middle cabinet is an additional storage area that we use to keep a few things inside, like extra toilet paper. This quilt is one of my special treasures, and it was handmade in secret by my grandmother who passed away in 2006, and before she died, she gave it to my uncle and aunt so that they could someday give it to me when I got married. You should have seen me when I opened the bag that had this quilt inside of it at my bridal shower and found the quilt and the note from my grandmother. I was sobbing, and there was not a dry eye in that room. And I think that's one way that our minimalist home might differ from the typical minimalist aesthetic home, because not only would I rather decorate my home with things that have special meaning to me, but I also stopped keeping things in boxes and thinking that I'm saving them for a special occasion. Because what I realized is that each moment that we have here and now is already a special occasion, and the things that we love serve us best when we put them to use or put them on display instead of storing them in boxes to collect dust in our closets and basements. Across the hall, we have the main bathroom that my family uses most of the time. There's a bathtub, a shower, and we use utility hooks to keep the towels that are in use hanging up on the radiator that's there right across from the shower. And the flat surfaces are clean and clutter-free, and down here at the bottom is where I keep my cleaning supplies, as well as a woven basket that I use to store extra toilet paper rolls. I get a lot of questions about how many linens we own as a minimalist family, and we have 2 sets of towels for each member of the family. One set is always in use, and the other set is for when that set is being laundered. but we only have one set of sheets for each bed. The very last room on this tour is my boys' shared bedroom, and we don't have an extra playroom, so this is also where they store and play with their toys. And this room is the largest room in the house because we wanted to give them enough space so that they can hold all of their stuff, but also have the open space to get their stuff out and play on the floor. This blue storage ottoman is where we keep their kickboxing gear and wearable blankets that they put on in the winter when it's cold outside. And then the dresser against the far wall was also upcycled from one of our kitchen cabinets. My husband took off the granite countertop, and what he did was just replace it with a simple white countertop that he got from the local Bauhaus for like 13 euros. And so now all of the boys' clothes fit inside this one dresser. Socks and underwear go up top, and then the left side of the dresser holds big brother's clothes and the right side holds little brother's clothes. As for their toys, we decluttered so much of their toys, and it's been amazing because not only have they not missed any of those toys, but they've also been more focused, engaged, and creative when they play with the toys that they do have. And we went from having a house that always had toys scattered all over the place that no one played with, to having one toy storage item that holds all of the toys that they own. And that makes tidying up easy and accessible to them, and they can just pull out a bin and toss toys inside and put it back in place, and it takes almost no time at all. And we've definitely been a lot more mindful about the toys and other things that we bring into our home now that we've experienced all of the benefits of having a highly simplified home. And I don't even really think that it matters if you call yourself a minimalist or not. What really matters is you start asking yourself if the kind of things that you're making space for in your home are aligned with the kind of life that you want to be leading. Because our lives are supposed to be spent on so much more than managing our stuff, right? I think maybe it's because I've lost so many loved ones that I've always been aware of how short and how precious life is. And I saw this chart the other day that basically pointed out that a lot of the things that we think are important in the grand scheme of things are the least important things about us, and that we're not going to be remembered for how much money we made or the car that we drove, as much as we are for the kind of person that we are and the impact that our actions have on the world and the people around us. So if you're interested in finding out more about how to declutter and live minimally, or maybe you're already in the process of decluttering or trying to work towards minimalism, but you feel like you could use a little bit more support and encouragement, I would love to have you give this video a like and go down and hit the little red subscribe button and ring the bell to turn on all notifications so that you don't miss any of the helpful videos that I'm sharing here on this channel each week to teach you the A to Z of how to simplify your home and your entire life. And if you're interested in going back and finding out more about us and how we got started on this journey, make sure you go check out this video, or I'll see you next week. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.